Hey guys, please take the time to review as well as understand this disclaimer I'm going to give you. My name is Dantes Lindsay. I am the General Manager of Ducks Trading LLC, as well as the lead trainer of StockCraft. I'm not a financial advisor, nor a CPA, and the content I create is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I trade in my account, and everything I do is hypothetical in nature because it doesn't happen in your account. My experience with trading is not typical, nor does it guarantee that similar results will be obtained by you. I am merely sharing my opinion with no guarantee of gains or losses in investments. Remember, day trading can be extremely risky. You should be prepared to lose all the funds that you use for day trading. In particular, you should not fund day trading activities with retirement savings, student loans, second mortgages, emergency funds, funds set aside for purposes such as education or home ownership, or funds required to meet your living expenses. Further, certain evidence indicates that investments less than $50,000 will significantly impair the ability of a day trader to make a profit. Of course, an investment of $50,000 or more will no way guarantee a success. Please take the time to review as well as understand this disclaimer. I'm only 13% away on my SPY, and I'm going to hold through earnings. I'm fully sober. I'm fully awake. I'm about to hold through earnings for Microsoft and Google earnings, all the ones on Tuesday, April 26th, 2022. I'm not being stubborn, not being crazy, but I know my options. And one is to either take pretty much a 7K loss right now and just be done with the whole position, or I can hold my head up high and have a 50-50 chance of coming up positive. Add it to the idea that Facebook earnings, I'm positive it's going to be. But today, Microsoft and Google are going to pretty much lead the way, whether it goes up or down. But the initial reaction right now, the market is, most people think is going down. That includes the insiders, the outsiders, and just overall pessimism across the world. And the international markets are closed. And I just wanted to say this is me live trading. Even though this is something I've been holding for a while, I just want to show you I have the opportunity, and this is me trying to have the patience to hold this the whole time, because I'm holding it through the earnings, which you never should really do. Another thing is, even though it's exactly 4 o'clock right now, and I was just showing you the last minute, you're usually given like an extra 15 minutes on special days like this, especially next to the biggest earnings when it comes to like the largest caps for the SPY, because they have the most weight. And the next 3 days are supposed to be the biggest when it comes to the weight inside of the SPY. So if you have a position, good luck. I'm about to come out of the double digits, and that makes me feel a certain type of way. I can't wait till the earnings show themselves, and I want them to be negative. I have 2 jars on the table. These jars are my accountability jars. I just placed a seed because I feel things are going to work out, and I'm trying to build a good habit. You should do the same. That's all I really wanted to say. Is worse is behind me. Now we're going to see what's going to happen. I'm going to react accordingly. So pretty much when it comes to the options, I had the past like 15, 20 minutes. It's pretty much to take an immediate 10K loss right here, or I have the option like a 50-50 chance of taking a less than 10K loss, which is a 50 chance. And then the other side of that 50 is for me to take something slightly greater than the 10K loss, which might come back because I'm guaranteed, just because Netflix and Facebook are connected because they bought each other. And I expect that to happen Wednesday. And today is Tuesday. And that's also at the end of the next day. So like there's a whole day in between where like that can grind up if we did have positive earnings today. But the reaction from the market today makes me feel a little bit more comfortable that we're going to see new lows tomorrow. And we had a low today of, I want to say 15, but I think it might just be 16, which is already enough for me.
if you ask me like a few days back. I'm gonna say we're at 415, but let's see. Yeah, we're already at 415.75. So yeah, I still have technically like 12 minutes before they completely turn off the option chain, and then I'm stuck with this. But at the end of the day, I still feel like I can come out positive on this. And I'd rather, come out slightly positive on this instead of holding this for extra amount of months and getting nothing. The smart risk management, secure side of me, conservative and stuff like that, telling me I can just cut my losses now, wait for a bounce, come back in, then wait for this to break like 400 or 410, and then I can make a profit that way. But this is an opportunity where my anxiety, like pressure and everything is at the peak. And if I can get through this, I can get through most pressure, FOMO, and like all those over analyzing kind of pressures that are with trading down the road, because they won't have anything in comparison to this. So this is a chance for me to grow, and I'm taking it. That's what I'm saying. It's also a chance for me to slightly gamble, because we have no clue what the earnings going to be, but there's a lot of reactions from the expectations market. So it's pulled back enough to the point where if the people that are really pessimistic about the earnings outcomes see that they're positive, they won't rush into buying the dip. Worse you'll see is people covering their short position that bought early, like 430s, and that could bring us back into the 420s. And if that happens, I still think Facebook will come out with negative earnings, then that would bring it back sub 420. And then overall, we're still in a bear market. And even though there's going to be some type of rally, I think I can handle it. And then that just sets me up for another 2 heavily weighted large caps Thursday, Apple and Amazon. So again, like, it's not like I'm just gambling right off the back. I have a plan, but also know that the odds are in my favor. The momentum, the wind is at my back, and I'm just taking my shot. And yeah, this is just what's going through my head right now, guys. The international markets everywhere else, they're already closed. They've been closed since 12, and their economies have been getting hit pretty hard. And when their dollar crashes, the dollar for the US dollar, it's starting to increase, and it increases to a point where it's too hot, and then that attracts the Fed, that attracts stronger monetary policy, as well as other factors that are going to bring down stocks, and people are going to sell bonds faster. And I'm saying all this because not only is it like make me feel a little bit better for like having such a like large position and then holding it through it, it also consolidates that it's not just a gamble. It's more of me putting in the work to do. You also see me watching this gain loss right here pretty deeply. Like, we started this at like -15, now we're at -7. And again, 415 is when they like do the cutoff. So if I really wanted to, like really adamant about the idea of just breaking even, I could probably do it right now. Like 5% on the 65K I have in this, I can come out with like less than 3K, and just purely thinking risk reward, I can only have like 3K loss right now. I can just be done with this whole 2.5, 3 months worth of like bag holding and work, because I went in too early because I didn't understand the volatility when it came to like options. I still have time, but I'm still gonna hold. So this isn't like a I'm admitting I'm crazy. This is more of I'm testing the theory of the bold. Fortune favors the bold. So part of me is screaming right now that like, hey, at least cover half. You don't have to hold that much overnight. I'll take a picture. Well, I got a video, but I'm gonna still take a picture. I have to make sure I don't touch anything. Yeah. Now we're at -5%. Going back and forth between 6 and 5. Earnings still haven't come out yet. It is after the close. So when they do come out, it's going to be one that's written in history. When it does, I just want it to crack 410, which it's at 413 at the lowest at this point. If it cracks 410, I'll be positive. And that's all I'm really trying to do for now, is what I want to say. But I know my greed's going to take over as soon as I turn green. So I'm trying to tell you this now. When I turn green, there's a chance that this has all the momentum, breaks the major supports, which was at 420 and 410, that this can go down to 400. I might risk just making an extra $10. I wouldn't recommend it. So that's all I'm really gonna say is like, as soon as I break even, I'm gonna cover. And if it bounces and then the earnings are negative, I don't even want to say that. At the end of the day, it was a long journey. If we get down to 410, just kissing 410, and we're still in that 5-minute window before I can actually do something about it, I don't have to hold the earnings. If I just became positive within these next 4 minutes before 4:15, they close the option chain, I'll cover my position. I'll cover at least half, because I still want to hold something. I feel like this is a chance for me to. But at the same time, there's a part of me that's just like, what's the risk? What's the reward? How big is the rally gonna be? What if everything is the opposite way? But main thing is I'm trying to say is that I have a plan. And then I know the odds. And I'm aware of what's gonna happen, and I have options. Not, I don't know what's gonna happen. I have a decent idea of what's gonna happen, and at what point do I fully lose control. So understanding the full situation is definitely gonna help whenever you're trading. You know how much you're gonna win, you know how much you're gonna lose, because you have that ability to go in and out whenever you want. And even though I just saw this go down to like -5%, now it's at -8%. At the end of the day, at one point I was at -70%. And so I could feel FOMO from pretty much getting down to that very low point and then it bouncing back to pretty much taking my money again. But I'm not going to feel that, because it's not over. We're in the process. I'm going to trust the process. And I'm going to need to keep reaffirming kind of milestones, knowing that I can get off at any one of the stones, but I have a certain goal in my head. I'm going to cover at that goal. Not only is that just positive, that's coming out with money. That's coming out winning. And main thing I'm looking for is this to crack 410. And since it's not doing it before 415, it means I have to risk the earning, because that was a part of my plan in the first place. So is what it is. We're about to see what's gonna happen. I don't know exactly when the earnings are gonna come out. I just know it's gonna be after the close, and then we're gonna see it. We're gonna see headlines about it everywhere. I'm just gonna pull up Twitter because they're gonna be the first ones to hear about it. So Bitcoin about to release ugly earnings, said Zero Hedge 70 minutes ago. Okay, here we go. You got Alphabet, which is also known as Google's parent company. It says quarter one income 2009, estimate is 19.7 B. Okay, so it looks like they beat their earnings. Google down. Okay, so you got Microsoft. Looks like they barely beat their earnings. Got Google, they barely beat. Permit. Oh, breaking news. They're a little slower than Zero. Motors. It looks like they beat it in revenue. The way the market's reacting. Okay. Still at that point where I won't take, even if the futures comes in, the option chain is off. Option chain is off. Came out like 10 minutes ago. I still had the time. Um, yeah, so take a step back. With that earnings coming out over 10 minutes ago, I still had like a good 10 minutes to actually make a decision based off the earnings. And now we're going to be on pause. The people that do futures, they're going to do their reactions to the like earnings. And so I might wake up and see that this was at 4:15 now, and it might actually go back up to like 4:20, which I'm also okay with. But since it was like a barely beating their earnings, and then there's still future unknown variables in the future, maybe it actually stays under 4:20, and then we can have another day of grinding down to the 4:10 into the negative Facebook earning. That's what I'm going to say in terms of like my story and what I'm looking forward to. But for now, just to sum up what just happened, looks like Google, like Alphabet, barely beat its earnings, and so did say Twitter. Oh, Microsoft. And so Microsoft, Google barely beat its earnings. I haven't seen Twitter yet. Oh, Twitter's actually in 2 days. What? Okay, according to these tweets, they're actually different. One's 4 minutes ago, one's 5 minutes ago. This one says Google revenues were up 25% over the last year, the seventh straight quarter of double-digit growth. So this one says it beat its earnings. On this one, it says they missed the expectations. Okay. Until the actual report comes out, I have no clue what's happening. The expectations were $26. Then hey, I'm trying to make sure that we don't have misinformation here. Going to the reliable sources. Okay. Everything's not updated yet. It's only been 10 minutes. Where are people getting their information then? Okay, so Microsoft did beat its earnings. This was made over an hour ago, but it was updated 3 minutes ago. Here's the summary. They expected 219 and got to revenue. They expected 49 billion. They got 49 billion. Quarter over the expectation. Fine. So Microsoft beat it. Google. I don't see anything. All this is leave it at that for now. All right, guys. So the market, like if this is true, just skimming the market, what I just did just now, uh, Microsoft beat its earnings, Google beat its earnings, and they did it barely, and they did it across the board. So with that in mind, there were still other companies that probably missed their earnings and were still going down, and the expectations by themselves, people shorting and covering and stuff like that, it kept the market going down. Now it's out of our hands. We already shot the arrow, and we're just gonna see if it hits the target. My target is gonna be sub 410 tomorrow. Gonna see what happens. In the meantime, he tweets Google's down. The way I see it is, yeah. So see this big gap down on Google. I'm gonna say they missed their earnings. So it's like a 1-to-1 when it comes to the heavily weighted SPY ticker. Microsoft up, Google down. But I can't say that confidently because you have this right here where they beat it. 19.7 expectation, and they came out with 20. But they didn't. They didn't like blow through their expectations. Like this first comment, Microsoft and Google seem bleh best. Like the reaction is pretty much barely beat it. Okay, so this looks like Nasdaq.com, and he's barely beating that. Important. Oh, looks like the reports were weak, and that's in our favor. Gonna see what's gonna happen tomorrow. I know this wasn't a like very good video, but I just got my thoughts out there. Did like very light research in terms of earnings expectation and how people are reacting to it now. Let's see how the people in futures overnight and like international markets open up their markets. How are they going to react to it? Because at the end of the day, we also have to go into the numbers. How much of their assets are in Russia and like where they turned off and what kind of materials are they going to use and what's the inflation around those materials? How much of this beating their earnings was caused by like increasing consumer prices because they couldn't handle like not raising the prices. At the end of the day, we're still in a bubble, and this is just a start. Still in a bear market. That's all I pretty much have to say. We got positive earnings on both Google and Microsoft, but I don't think it's gonna help too much, especially since we have Google, or not Google. We have Facebook coming out tomorrow. Facebook is connected to Netflix, and if it's gonna do anything similar to Netflix, we're gonna see something like a 30%, 20% gap down, and it doesn't have as much weight as Google and Microsoft, but it's a retail social media platform company that's heavy enough to make a difference, and it might cancel out the very light impact made from the earnings release of. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for you. Next time, like what you saw, please like and subscribe. Next video. Peace.